Hi, my name is Jan Ivar Sørby. I have some requests for a tutorial on using the Behringer Eurodesk mixers. Especially since a lot of people seem to have problems with the control room phones outputs and also the metering on these mixers. And this is because these mixers are quite flexible in this department, and flexibility often means complexity, so it's also possible because it's so flexible to do it wrong. And I will show you how it's to be used, and also the routing of this and the gain setting. So I've rigged up this mixer with an output going to my computer from the phone's control room out here, and input here. It's just output from a computer playing some music, just a mono signal going in here. The first you have to check is the gain. Using this knob you will set the gain, and you will use the signal LED. That's the easiest, or the first, the most primitive, I would say, way to set the level. You see, when there is no signal, no light in the signal LED, you have a too low signal, and then when you turn up you get a blinking LED, and when you turn further up, just blinking stops, and eventually you will see this clip LED. Then you are where you are way too high when you are clipping. So you can set this where it is blinking. That's probably the correct level. And to set it more precisely, you can use the solo button. This is here. When you push that, you will send the signal to the phone's output, and exactly how it's monitored is controlled with this button. When it's pressed, you will have a pre-fader listening, PFL, which is probably the best way. When you are setting level, it should be pressed and be in a pre-fader level set. And for these mixers, it's not a very high-end preamplifier, and they don't like to be driven hard. They don't sound very good when they are driven hard. And actually, you see, the LEDs are green up to this point, and then they start to be yellow. And yellow actually means that you get a slight distortion at this, and when you get too high, you see you have this clip level, then you have a lot of distortion. But it doesn't, on some sources, it doesn't sound good in this area. And I've seen floor toms that are sounding very terrible in this area. You normally want not to be in the green area, and just a little bit into the yellow area. And also some female singers that produces very high-end grit, I will say. That sounds terrible. But if you stick to the level around this 0, this is marked with 0. If you don't go too much over that, then you get a really nice signal and a really nice sound. You see, now when I have the solo button pushed, you have a signal out on the headphones. But when I depress it, the signal disappears, and there is nothing showing here. So what you need to do now that we have set the signal level correctly, we have to route the signal. And the first is with these buttons, these 3 buttons. I have set the level with the fader to unity gain, which is where you should start. Always try to achieve a level where you have all your faders in unity level. It's marked with a 0 here. But in order to hear anything, because the signal stops here, you have to engage one of these 3 buttons. And here is the main button, which will send it here to the main fader. So when we push that, we have signal on the main fader. But still, nothing shows here. And that is why we have to choose what we should listen to in this section. Here we have the gain for the headphones. It's set at 12 o'clock now. And to listen to this main fader, we have to push the main button on the phone's control room. And now we have the signal, and it's showing on the LEDs. We can also use the subgroups. We have 4 subgroups here. Usually it's set up in as 2 stereo pairs. So if I depress this routing on the channel, the signal disappears. But then I can just a bit press the 1 and 2 subgroup button, and still there is no signal. But when I depress the main control room selector, I can press the 1 and 2 subgroup, and then we have signal on the phones and on the meters. And now we are listening to this subgroup. But this subgroup is not routing to the main output at the moment. So let me depress this. To route it to the main, you have to use one of these or these 4 buttons. This is the left channel, and we push the left to route it to the left channel on the main. And we push the main button on the controller to C. And now we have signal on the left channel, and this we want to route to the right channel, so we use that. And now we have signal on both left and right channel, and we can have the level with these buttons here. So now we can listen to the subgroup 1 and 2, and then we can actually remove the signal with the fader from the main, but still we hear it here because we have routed the subgroup 1 and 2 to the control room phone's output.